Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Aaronica where over here we talk about plus size sewing and styling and everything in between. So today I am super excited about what we're about to make, and this is a pattern hack that I've had since I created the pattern. So what are we doing and what are we hacking and what are we hacking it into, right? Okay, so this is ME2050, and this was my fall pattern last year. Wow, we're in 2024. Okay, so this was my fall 2023 pattern, and I love this silhouette. I love that it's made for a stretch knit because easy breezy, beautiful cover girl. But also, it's hot as balls outside in Atlanta. Like literally right now, it is 90 degrees, and my house right now does not have air conditioning. Another story for another day, dare I say. Anyway, I was like, you know what would be super cute as a dress for the summer? This one, made out of a thinner material and excluding, of course, the sleeves. So we are going to take this pattern, we're going to hack it. Now, if you're like, what is this pattern? This is not quite bodycon, but we do have a fitted dress that comes with a belt. It is experiencing a deep V neck. So you can either go braless, you can use tape, you can wear a bra as long as, you know, you're comfortable. You can wear whatever you want to. But what we're going to do today, we're going to hack it in two different ways. The first hack is we're going to omit the sleeves. The second hack, or actually we're going to do three different hacks. My apologies. The second hack is we're going to omit the center seam of the front bodice. We're not going to do that because we're going to be using one fabric, one color, so we don't need that seam down the middle. The final hack that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a band instead of using facing to finish off this neck area, okay? Now, I also might decide to throw in a little slit or something along those lines. I don't know. We'll see how I feel as I'm going ahead and constructing this dress. We'll be constructing the dress entirely on my Bernina L890, which is a combo machine for a serger as well as a cover stitch. You can see it right here. This is her. She's set up with the wrong colors. So let's talk about what fabric options we're going to use in order to make this dream dress come true and give me the very nice, floaty, fun summer dress of my dreams. So let's take a look at that now. I was actually digging in the crates, aka looking at the fabric that's in my garage for fabrics that I thought that I would be able to use for my fall pattern that is no longer happening, my fall 2024 pattern, no longer happening. But I came up with this fabric, which I absolutely love. This is a rayon blend, but it's a thicker rayon blend, so it does have a little bit of recovery, which is perfect for this dress. So I have quite a bit of yardage for this, and this is such a beautiful color to me. Like, look at how good that looks on my skin. Ow, I love it. So we're gonna be using this and this fabric only because I don't feel like I would like to color block or add anything else. So what we are going to do as we cut out the pattern, as opposed to cutting it on the fold, as opposed to cutting two mirror images, we're cutting it on the fold, okay? So when it comes to our pattern pieces, let's talk about the pattern pieces that we're going to be cutting out. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out our handy dandy instructions, our tutorials. Now it's up to you whether or not you actually wanna follow this verbatim for construction, or you could follow me. Either or, okay? Now, as a reminder, this pattern is drafted for a 5/8 inch seam allowance. I'm not doing that. I'm not using that big seam allowance. I will likely do a 1/2 inch seam allowance if I do that much. So just be mindful of that, okay? I'm going to be doing it out of a straight 26. Yes, I'll do a straight 26. The reason why I'm iffy about it is because my bust measurement is a 46. And so I do want it to be slightly looser here because it's supposed to be a loosey-goosey up front with a fitted down bottom. And that is, honestly, I loved the amount of stretch that I had on the cover of the pattern. The cover of the pattern, I did a straight 26 there as well, okay? What else? The pattern pieces that we're going to be using today are going to be 1, 2, buckle my shoe, and that's it, okay? So we're only going to be using 2 pattern pieces. So if you're like, Aaronica, how are we going to get the band? I will tell you this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the length of that, what the neck opening for the size 26 is. Like, I'm literally going to whip out my handy dandy measuring tool. We're going to measure that, and then I'm going to do 90% of that for my neckband. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to actually, because I don't necessarily want a super thick neckband. And of course, again, we're being mindful about what that seam allowance is going to be, which is probably about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to do my band at 1.5 inches times whatever that length is. But don't worry, I'll let you know what length I'm using as I get to that point in the construction of this here garment, okay? So those are the big changes that we're gonna be making. So let's go ahead and cut our pattern out. Okay, friends, so I did the math. So I'm still using what I was sent for when I received it and I had to sew it. So this is my pattern piece right here. So what I did was I measured from the top all the way down to the center. Then I also measured this back area. The total of that was 16.5. I multiplied it by 2. Why? Because I only had 1/2 of the measurement. So then I got 37. Then I subtracted for each of my seam allowances. So this is essentially 1/2 inch on each side, which is 1, 1/2 inch on each of these back pieces because I'm still doing the back seam. So that's another 1, then another inch up here. So that's another 1. So that brought me down to 34 inches. Then I multiplied that by 90% and I got 30 inches. So I'm going to be cutting my neckband piece at that 30 inches by 1.5. Now, when it comes time, because this is a V-neck stitch, right? It is a V-neck situation. So when it comes time for me to actually go ahead and cut it to put it in, I'm going to be cutting it at an angle and I'll show what that looks like. I have so much of this fabric. It's like an insane amount of fabric here. Sorry, I was like definitely looking down to see where my foot pedal was so I could turn on the light that's in front of me because I don't know where it is. What a difference that makes having some lighting. But there's so much of this fabric. So this is the fabric. Now, because I'm going to be cutting that front piece on the fold, I do actually have the potential to be able to get this done in one cut. So we'll see if we're able to make that work. If it does, I will be the happiest girl in the world. If it doesn't, I will still be the happiest girl in the world because I'm so excited about this dress. So either way, your girl is happy. Oh my goodness, we're making it work. It's going to fit. So excited. Okay, so now that we've gotten our neckband cut out, this is the neckband, and it's at about that 1.5 inches. It is not perfect because I use kind of like a little scrap piece for this. So when I was saying that I was going to cut this end at kind of like an angle, so that way when you put it on as the V-neck, right, you want to make sure that the V-neck is V-necking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply fold this over like this, and I'm going to just chop off like that, because then when I pull it together, or rather when I sew it together, and I'm going to be sewing straight down that line, it'll come out and it'll be a nice little V-neck situation. So that is our V-neck. So we have all of our pieces cut out. Now is the time to assemble. Okay, so let's review our pattern pieces that we have here. So we've got, and I'm going to try to hold it up as best as we can see. We've got, this is the front piece that we did cut on the fold right here. We've got mirror images of the back piece. And then we also have our neckband that we did go ahead and cut. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sew our shoulder seams, we're going to sew our back seam together with our right sides together. So this is actually going to be functioning as my right side. The reason why I want this one to be my right side is because you can kind of see that grain line here, and I want that to be on the outside. So I'm going to be putting together and sewing straight down this center seam before I attach my shoulder seams together. So let's go ahead to the machine and do that. Now again, as a reminder, I generally speaking do not use pins when I sew, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with because I prefer to use my serger for most projects. And early on in my sewing career, I just remember so many people being like, oh, I used my serger on my, with pins, and now I have to fix my machine, and I don't ever want that. Just like I don't ever want for these pins to like pop off, stab me in the eye. Like that is not even the life I'm trying to live. So that is one of the reasons why I do not use pins whenever I sew. So again, this is just that center seam. If you're into putting slits into your clothing, you can always do like a back slit very easily with this pattern. I do think I'm going to forego a little slit action here because I feel like we're doing enough hacks, you know, for today. I feel like we're doing enough. So I did like the choppiest job cutting the back of this dress. Ooh, Chile. I'm so happy that this like literally chops off that fabric that you don't want anybody to see, because y'all could be ugly. Okay, so now that we've got our back seam together, let's go ahead and grab the front of our dress and attach our shoulder seams together. So we've got this here. Again, making sure that the right side is facing the other right side. So I'm going to go ahead and unfold this dress, put our right sides together. And again, this is a super simple, super fast sew. So we're just going to go ahead and attach our shoulder seams like this right across there. And I'm just going to continue straight across without like cutting, because I feel like it saves a little bit of thread and it makes it a little bit more efficient, just ever so slightly. It's not like a huge difference. And if that's not what you like to do, that's also fine too. So I'm going to just go ahead, line this up. And it's okay if it's not completely lined up and you have to make adjustments as you get the fabric on in there. Okay, so we've got this attached now. So now we're gonna go ahead and just pop in that side seam. Y'all, this is coming together so quickly and so easily. Now, because of the fabric that I'm using, it's like, I wanna say this is like a mix between a nice jersey cotton. It's so breathable, it's so nice. I'm not gonna go ahead and hem these things. What I am gonna do is I think I'm gonna finish the bottom as well as the shoulder, the arm size with a lettuce hem. I think that is going to be super cute. So we're coming to the end of our side seam. Make sure that's lined up well. So that side seam is done. Now we're gonna just flip it over and do this other side seam. And yes, like, yeah, we are doing this in essentially one take. I know. Because literally it's just this easy. And again, starting from that armpit area, we're gonna just go ahead and do this side seam as well. This is like the loveliest t-shirt material. And I'm like wearing what I thought was gonna be my outfit, but I feel like I might change into this. My husband came downstairs and he was like, oh, what are you recording? And I was like, I'm gonna just like record a little sew along for this hack. He's like, what hack? And I was like, I wanna just hack my fall pattern so that it's like something that you can wear while it's blazing hip hop and R&B outside. And it's, let's see, it's 3:27 right now. And so I'm gonna be leaving to go get my kids from camp. And he's like, so you're just gonna do that right now? And so I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it real quick. And he's like, you're gonna record and make clothing right now? And I was like, yeah, I am. Okay, so we basically have this entire thing constructed. The next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and add in our neckband. And here's the thing about this neckband. It is going to give a little bit more coverage, which of course is nice because not everybody is trying to show off their boobies like your girl right here. So again, we're going to line this up. So we have that here. I'm gonna fold it in half so that all I'm doing is putting in that stitch right there. And he's always like, that is so amazing to me how you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna get up and make some clothes right quick. And so this is how our neckband comes out. As you can see here, we've got this beautiful V. At this point in time, you can press this into place if you would like to. Otherwise, just let that ride. Okay, so here we have that beautiful V right here. Now, I will say that if you are not someone who is used to working with your serger, or if you get nervous about doing V-necks, definitely take this over to your sewing machine and go ahead and put your V in. Okay, but if you are a YOLO sewist like your girl right here, we're just gonna pop this in and we're going to go ahead and I'm gonna snip down this little extra piece here. Go ahead and just use your serger. I will say that I do most of my V-necks in my serger, and you know, it's really about muscle memory. It may not be perfect. It may not be exact. Sometimes it is perfect. Sometimes it is exact. Now for a V-neck, what I will say is that how you do this matters, right? Because we did shorten this by a certain amount of length, right? Which means that it's not one-to-one. So we're going to have to do some stretching, but you don't ever want to stretch where that V actually is. Okay. So in that front part, like in this area, I'm not going to be stretching at this point in time. We're going to let it ride. Okay. I'm just lifting this up so I can make sure that I put it down properly. But as we get towards the middle, or rather up towards the shoulder area, at that point in time, we're going to begin to put a little bit of tension. We're not going to ever stretch. We're just going to add a little bit of tension to the neckband. So right here, I have no tension, no tension. Why? Because we want that V-neck to stay as V-ish as possible. So you figure for the first 2 to 5 inches, depending upon how deep that V-neck is, you definitely just want to let it just chill. Okay. Now that I'm getting towards this shoulder seam, I am going to add some tension here. Again, just adding tension. I'm not stretching. Like I'm not pulling, I'm not stretching. Again, just resituating it. And we're going to add some more tension. And the reason why is because in this back area, this is not going to get stretched out. You know what I'm saying? So because we're going to need to add stretch in order to make this to actually fit, we just want that area to have that tension. We're just adding, again, tension towards this back. One of the other things that you can always do is go ahead and pin or clip this neckband into place just to kind of make sure that you have exactly what you need, right? Again, just a little bit of tension. So now that I'm almost here, I see that I'm going to have to add a little bit more tension, and I do know that I'm going to have to continue to add some of this tension, right, until we get down here. Now, honestly, I feel like I should have added some more tension. So what I'm probably going to do is end up taking out this neckband and trying it again. And the reason why is because I should have started to add more tension towards this side. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take this off and I'm going to take it out of that side. We're going to take it out. Why? Because I already know, and we can see like right here, that this right here is too much tension, and we can see that based upon that rippling effect. So I'm actually going to go ahead, take this out, and then I'm going to go ahead and recut. I actually ended up cutting off an extra inch, and I see now that I needed that inch, so I'm going to go back and recut this. Okay, so I did go ahead and remake my my neckband, and I used the proper measurement this time. Last time, like I said, I needed 34 inches, and I think I did like 30 inches last time, but I was foiled. So now let's go ahead and actually put it in because I have the proper measurement this time. Everything I said last time still is true, but this time we're just going to do it the right way. Okay, friends? So we've got our neckband, popping that in there. And now I'm just going to, and I like to have my neckband where the feed dogs are. I'm going to drop my needle just to hold things in place as I lift my foot up. But I like to have my neckbands on that feed dog because I feel like it helps me with the, when I have to apply the tension that I need to. You know what I'm saying? That is definitely a personal preference. So let's go ahead and get this in. And everything I said the last time still applies. Okay, so I'm starting to apply that tension now. And if you're like, Aaronica girl, I was with you until we have to make our own neckbands, go ahead and use the facing. That's still fine, you know. bands will always make me dance, which is the reason why your girl loves a neckband, okay? Okay, here we go. We're getting back to that area where I was like, oh snap, we were running out of neckband. Not anymore though. Not anymore, friends. Okay, so now we see where we are right here. And I'm just making sure that we are lined up properly, right? And now I'm just making sure that my fabric was lined up properly and that neckband is in there like swimwear. And as you can see, we've got that V in there pretty well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set my machine up so that it's ready for a lettuce hem so that we can finish this up and go run carpool. Okay, so I decided to go with this picot. It's a picot stitch, which honestly I am just loving so much already. And so it's a little bit different than, of course, the actual lettuce hem, in the sense that it creates kind of like a picot elastic pattern for whatever it's, you know, you're using it for. And so I am going to do this all the way around the hemline as well as around the arms. And I really love this effect that it's going to give. So I'm going to finish this up and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, friends, so this is the final look, and dare I say I'm a little in love with it. It is really easy breezy to wear. I'm loving where the new like neckline is. It's not that low. I don't have on a bra with this right now. So of course I do have the space to kind of lift the girls up if I want to. I do feel like adding the band for the neck definitely makes it a little bit more friendly to wear with bras. But yeah, so this is today's hack. So what do you guys think? Is this something that you would hack and wear? Or is this an A for you? Let me know in the comments and make sure that you like, subscribe, as well as drop a comment below so that I can read your comments and see what it is that you guys think about this sort of thing. So yeah, I'll see you on the next time.